Pretty usually everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It is Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's take a look at the port, see what we got, see what we can see. We'll take a look at all the charts today in the port and a few others, just flipping through them real quick. 20% risk off. It's usually a good place to, start a video to say, are you risk on, are you risk off, are you leveraged? What is your sectors? If I was a smarter man, I'd have sector split here. You could tell that almost all of this is defensive. I wouldn't call Wolf or IREN defensive or Zoom, but anything that's not defensive and or is also AI. So that's really all that's going on here. No crypto. We'll take a look at that real quick, but I don't really see anything going on there. The risk off is actually probably closer to 22 just because of TLT. Really like TLT here, really like STRC here. Just now to me is not the place to play momentum, to play trend. It's the time to stack sats or stack fiat and just wait. There will be another trade probably in 3 to 6 months on crypto, and that's when you want to be just fully refueled, ready to go. I don't really care about random 5% moves on anything here, crypto-wise. So for the charts, BTC, good bounce relative to whatever the State of the Union was going on last night. There was a Dragonfly day before. None of this here is actionable to me. None of it was actionable yesterday or today or tomorrow. It's going to take time for this to do something that I care about. The earliest I would ever do anything ever would be on a 4-hour. If this at this point can get above the 4-hour cloud, there is a trade to be had there, potentially. Now, I wouldn't trade BTC on a 4-hour. I would trade Sol on the 4-hour because Sol tends to have the most bang for your buck. It's basically leveraged BTC at this point, right? It's basically MSTR. We'll take a look at MSTR IBIT, which continues to break up. So if this can get above, 86, I think there's a decent case to be made for a short-term trade there, not intraday, but probably 1 week, 2 weeks, just to see what you can get here on Sol, because you're looking for explosive upside quickly. You're not looking to just sit in this and rot. Okay, that's not the point here. As I try to find a chart that I can draw on here. The targets would be conservatively 102 to 109. We're not talking about crazy stuff here. You could also check the 200-day moving average, which is what? It is all the way up at 159. I think that's probably a little high for the current environment. But on leverage, low time frame, in and out, that's what I'd be looking for here on crypto because trend is still bearish. That means expect lower lows. Higher highs are going to be tough. Holding on to highs are going to be tough. And I like Sol because it is levered already. So you're levered on levered effectively. Looking at MSTR, there is a massive, mega, huge trade here. Options, leverage, organs, the whole deal, retinas, whatever it takes. There's a setup here to be had. I saw something today that MSTR's might be the most shorted float. That's probably exaggeration, but 10% of the float is short right now. So there is a trade here. Eventually, one thing you could do, what I'm doing with my STRC and another portfolio is DCAing BTC with the dividends. You could also DCA MSTR with the dividends, but it gives you time, just time to wait to see what's going on here. This is a huge trade, 140 to 230. And if we look at MSTR over IBIT, it's already slowly hinting at a reversal. This is a round bottom, inverted head and shoulders situation. So it is already slowly gaining back something against BTC. I would also check this against ETH. It's winning against ETH. You can check it against Sol. It's winning against Sol, right? When you have the ability to trade anything, check it out. Is it winning? Yeah, it is. So yeah, I think MSTR is going to be the next big trade for me within the next 2-3 months, probably. I just think it's a little early to take any action here now. Something I did add pre-market, open pre-market, was nukes. A lot of this is uranium or GEVs in it for some reason, GE Vernova, which I already have in the port. But I love this chart. I love this setup. I love the narrative. I love commodities. This is either a massive cup and handle or inverted head and shoulders. And it's always the same. Take the high, take the low, measure it. You get a great level up there. So to me, most other stuff right now looks very stretched. Even the defensive names looks very stretched. So I don't really see much else. I mean, I'm sure there's some individual names that look okay. But in general, I don't see a lot of anything to do here. As far as stuff in the portfolio, Zoom has been a bit of a bugaboo here. Hasn't really broken out, hasn't really broken down, just sort of flat. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Again, this is not about Zoom. This is not about software. This is more about Anthropic at this point than anything. We'll see if the DeepSeek model that is pending to be released is going to throw this lower. You know, at this point, you'd want this to be higher, ideally 95, 96, but I'm not sad about it. It's okay. It's still above the cloud on the weekly. IREN, I should have closed the other day. I held it, still holding it. Still think it's fine. Trend would disagree with me. Cloud would disagree with me. At this point, you do not want any lower lows. You do not want anything below 38.5. So we could probably move this stop loss level to there. Nothing below there. You're already in danger territory. Now you do have a lower time frame. Adam and Eve. Adam, Eve. Adam, Eve. We're not above the daily yet. This lost the daily cloud. This has to reset everything. So this has time and needs time to recover. But talking about the two largest positions in a portfolio where you're basically underwater or flat, you know, not ideal. STRC has been cooking. Someone cooked here. Doing really well despite downward volatility and maybe just a little bit of a sentiment indicator that the kids do be all right on the crypto side. We do have periodic extreme volatility in STRC. Similar to Tether, you know, Tether at $1 and far below $1. People have made money buying Tether below $1, and that's basically a similar situation here. Now, to think of it like that as a thought exercise is dangerous because there will be a day potentially when this just doesn't ever recover or it takes months to recover, right, et cetera, et cetera. But until that point, trading the range has been fruitful for many. mRNA on the daily, 3-day, 2-day, weekly, all of this looks very, very good. We're almost to the 50%. This is technically not a cup and handle, but cup and handle-esque, cup and handle-ish. I like how this looks on the weekly as well through the cloud. There's a level up here at 96.87. So the first level on any retracement is always going to be the 50% drawdown, which we could put up here, which is basically that cloud level at 98. This will be the first one at, 61, basically there. So the next price level to watch would be 98, 100, something even and round like that. But you can see how this took a year to bottom, right? And it had failed attempts along the way for several years. That's what trading's all about. Just looking for your risk reward opportunity, taking a swing. Maybe you get a hit, maybe you don't. similar to nukes. Again, commodities, uranium, looks very good here. This is forming a cup and handle. You can see the little Adam and Eve there as well on lower time frames. This would be another to think about adding to because it's pre-breakout. I always like buying highs and selling higher. So my preference is always to go deep in the paint on the breakout, not necessarily pre-breakout, but I don't hate nibbles here. I don't hate buying a little bit. I did add to XLU today because it did break out yesterday. Just as an example, you know, the difference between UU and XLU is that XLU is already broken out. And again, all these names are not sexy. They're defensive. They're utilities, right? They're even the miners at this point are utilities. DocN has done well. Not hit the target yet. Not hitting any fractals just yet. Anything below 54 would be the Williams fractal there. But it's got time. Really nothing to say or do there. Wolf has done well after consolidating for a little bit. Yesterday technically would have been an add on fractals with the higher high there. You don't really need fractals to tell you to add on higher highs most of the time. This is kind of a mess, but it's also kind of a rounded bottom in this consolidation. And in pre-market, you can see it's already up even more. So I do like the target still here. It's probably a little late to add or open. But again, it's one of the few things in the market that is doing very, very well. ENPH, despite me not closing around 50, it has recouped and recovered. And why do I like this chart? It is in the market narrative. It was down a bunch and through the daily cloud. Most of these chart fractals relative to the cloud look exactly the same. And you could argue the same for TLT. You could argue the same for mRNA pre-breakout, PFE pre-breakout, SPPP, Platinum Palladium pre-breakout months ago. So this is almost to the 50% retracement. At 60, it's got a ways yet. But if we want to zoom out and look for something similar to mRNA, we're talking 83, 84, something like that as the next target. But it looks fine. Really nothing to do there. Again, energy, boring, utilities. XLE is also done very, very well. Energy, right? That's all we're talking about right now. Nothing really on the Mag 7, the risk side, nothing like that. TLT still to me looks excellent. Looks about as pre-breakout as you can get. If this does break up, that likely means risk markets break down. So there's likely some sort of flight to safety. The only other reason this would break up is just relative value. It's been down for so many years. You can do TLT against SPY. See what we see here. Yeah, I mean, it's just, just down only since COVID, right? So one of the reasons this could do well is just mean reversion. Yeah, I understand fundamentals and the long bond and blah, blah, blah. But it's basically, you're looking for alt season, right? Like it's the same thing when we're talking about ETH-BTC or Total 2, whatever, right? It's the same thing. XLV healthcare, also boring, continues to look excellent. Cup and handle right at the highs here. Has a nice breakout potential. I also like adding on this full size on breakout, as I say here. And this to me is much better than being down randomly 5 to 10% on crypto, right? You're just waiting for crypto to swing back in our direction in a bullish fashion. Not there yet. GE Vernova has already hit its target and just continues to melt up. I mean, what a wild chart at 888 in pre-market. I should probably watch this a little closer just because it is quite parabolic. I mean, look at the weekly, right? Just straight up. I assume they'd have a split at some point, close to 1,000 maybe. Maybe that'd be a better time to consider closing some of it, but nothing here on the Williams fractals as far as stop loss just yet. 790 would be the stop loss, but excellent chart. MPT broke out, pulled back. I still like this. Again, why do I like it? Because it's peeking out of the weekly cloud for the first time in years. I don't care about dividends for any of these, by the way, other than STRC. That's not why I'm here. I'm here for the price action. So this still looks good to me. Still looks pre-breakout or at the breakout level, up slightly in pre-market. Plenty of room, maybe a 2x from here on this. Toll Brothers, home builders, again, cup and handle, inverted head and shoulders, looks great. Probably deserves an add at highs. Is that all-time highs? I think so. Deserves an add at all-time highs there. So I will set an alert. Boring, rate sensitive, same story. Dow, chemicals, similar to mRNA, PFE, all these charts. It is within the wheelhouse of expectations of take profit. It does have a low time frame head and shoulders that I don't love here. So I might close this today. This is what I'm looking at. Don't love that. Don't love that. Especially because it's already in the wheelhouse. It already hit the 50%. If we go to the weekly, what is left here? I guess another few percentage points. Definitely not an entry. Definitely closer to an exit. I just don't love that consolidation there. Pfizer still hasn't broken out-ish yet, but I would add this to the list of things to watch, along with Nukes, along with Toll Brothers, along with XLV, in different parts of the market, right? This is a bearish to bullish recovery. XLV, XLU are bullish continuation type patterns. But that to me is where I want to be. I want to be pre-breakout with momentum on my side. Real quick, let's look at some oldies but goodies. Gurn, man, I closed this too early, right? It's always the ones you don't hold on to, the ones you close. But again, same rationale, same reasoning. Above the daily cloud, it's down a bunch in pre for whatever reason. Figs, I think it's still the right decision to close this in the daily cloud. Really nothing to do there at the moment. Rivian continues to be a disaster with a capital D. Ugly multi-year consolidation that failed to continue on breakout, and now it's just continuously giving all back. Donut continues to be a failed breakout. Roku, good close, Josh. Good close there on my part. Maybe a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders here, yeah, on low time frames. Something to think about if you like lower time frame charts, but not for me. XMR gave it all back after breaking 450. Nothing to do there. Tesla looks pretty hideous on the daily. Maybe this recovers, but it is not sit around and wait material for me. FDS, oof. Again, another great close. You don't love hitting your stop loss levels, but every once in a while, flipping through these charts that did hit a stop loss, you're reminded of why stop losses exist, right? This chart just ugly. Metaplanet also ugly. Again, the cloud does not lie, even on FDS. The cloud does not lie. You're out of the cloud, you should be out of the trade. Metaplanet, same deal. Just ugly after breakdown. REMX, I was looking at this one again, similar to XLU, similar to a lot of these commodities charts, just continues to quietly hold on to highs and reconsolidate. So I don't hate REMX either. I let go of it because it was basically where I'd expect it to go many moons ago. FCell, this one I cut, might revisit. I might be ready to get hurt again. Similar to TLT, it is a huge multi-year drop in the weekly cloud, ready to go here on the 3-day. So I still think there's a trade there on FCell. Porsche, nothing, garbage. SPXL, yeah, that is just a death trap because you're getting vol dragged and fee dragged, sitting in levered ETFs that are going nowhere. SUPV did nothing. ARCG also nothing. YCA, this is uranium-ish, uranium miner. Not really actionable for me here. Estee Lauder, a lot of people talking about this one on the weekly or the 3-day as it starts to break out and recover. Just not for me. Don't love it. SRPT went nowhere. Peloton also ugly breakdown. So all in all, I like FCell, I like nukes, I like energy, I like utilities, I like healthcare, I like bonds. That just feels like the place to be right now. Not really much going else. Not much else going on in risk markets. That's all over this one. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.